Well, good Friday morning, everyone. Happy last Friday of the year. Can you believe it? We really made it to the end of the year. So we are going to do a fun weather desk for today. It's going to include a lot of some of the projects I've worked on over the past 6 months. And it's more about teaching you about the weather. So today, again, this is our daily stream. The only time we didn't have this stream was on Christmas Day, just to give us a little bit of a break. But this happens every day at 9 a.m. You have me, Hunter, or Craig. So we have a lot to go through today because we have a lot of fun stuff in the plans. So the first thing, we are talking about my favorite WeatherWorks episodes. For those who don't know, WeatherWorks is my baby. WeatherWorks is a segment where I teach you about common weather phenomenon across the U.S. and the world. Anything you ever wanted to know, I probably have already talked about it. So we're going to go through my top 5 favorite episodes of the year. Next, we are going to talk about severe weather across the country. If we could take this graphic full, that would be great, so we can see all that. Perfect. Severe weather across the country is also possible for us here in parts of Norfolk and the Mid-Atlantic as we get into Sunday. But for today and tomorrow, it's concentrated in the deep south, where they've already seen a bunch of tornadoes, even on Christmas Day and the day after. And then we'll talk more about our local forecast here in Hampton Roads that includes a very rainy end to 2024. So let's go to topic number 1. We are talking about my favorite WeatherWorks episodes of the year. So let us get started. For the first episode, have you ever wondered why our favorite clouds, or at least one of my favorite clouds, cumulus clouds, are puffy? I explain in this episode of WeatherWorks. Spotting a cumulus cloud is pretty easy. The clouds resemble pieces of cotton candy, but why are cumulus clouds fluffy and not flat? To fully understand why, we need to start with the basics of the water cycle. The 3 main elements of the water cycle are evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. When the surface of a body of water gets hot enough, the liquid water transitions into water vapor. Then the warm water vapor rises into the sky. As the vapor ascends, the particles cool and condense. The particles begin to build on top of themselves and form piles of cooled water droplets. Like building blocks, the small piles stack on top of one another and create the fluffy look we traditionally see in cumulus clouds. The word cumulus is Latin for accumulation, heap, or pile, which directly describes the cloud structure. So those little pieces of white cotton candy in the sky are fluffy thanks to water vapor and the water cycle. I'm Meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and that's how your weather works. So yes, remember cumulus meaning pile or heap. So that is where you get that name from. So that's really cool to know how that works. Now, this is a big travel time of the year where a lot of us, including me, we take flights to go see our loved ones for the holidays. But one of the most jarring things that can happen on a flight is that sickening turbulence. I explain in this episode how turbulence forms. I'm here at the Virginia Air and Space Science Center in Hampton, surrounded by all of these planes. To get to your dream destination, you may have to fly in one of these bad boys. One thing that may make you nervous about flying, though, the sometimes sickening turbulence during your flight. Let's talk about how turbulence forms. There are 4 types or causes of turbulence: mechanical, thermal, frontal, and wind shear. Specifically, the most common turbulence we experience on planes is thermal turbulence, meaning that the heat from the sun creates these bumpy conditions. During the day, especially during the summertime, the sun heats up the surface of the earth differently, depending on which terrain is receiving the sunlight. Flat, dusty areas of the earth heat up more quickly than forested places or bodies of water. The warmer air and cooler air mix as the warm air rises and the cool air sinks. This ignites that jolting sensation that may cause you to lift out of your seat. Thermal turbulence extends from the ground to the very tops of clouds in the area. This is why pilots try their best to fly above the cloud tops. So, on your next flight, remember, stay calm and buckle up when you encounter turbulence. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and that's how your weather works. Now, sometimes it's easier to spot turbulence than other times. With turbulence, a lot of times it happens when you encounter those clouds or even thunderstorm clouds. But sometimes you can encounter clear air turbulence. And during those times, pilots will alert other pilots and other meteorologists about that clear air turbulence so that we can track that without the presence of clouds. Now, speaking of clouds, one of the greatest things that comes from clouds is rain. It helps us replenish our water supplies. It also helps to get those grounds to be saturated so that we can farm and we can actually breathe with those trees that also produce that oxygen we need to survive. But have you ever been in one of those situations where you're like, oh, I can actually smell the rain? It's not just one of those southern sayings, it's a real thing. Let's talk about the smell of rain and what it's called. Whenever rain is on the way, some of us can sense it. Ah, yes, the distinct smell of rain never gets old. But why does rain have a smell? The scent can come from 3 factors: lightning, soil bacteria, and plant acids. Before any rain falls, lightning can already put on a show. When lightning strikes, it can split up nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere. A stray oxygen atom can combine with 2 other oxygen atoms to create ozone. Once the ozone molecules mix with the raindrops and fall towards the ground, the scent hits our nose. Additionally, when rain starts to fall, this leads to another way to smell the storm. When the raindrops hit the soil below, they interact with the bacteria found in the soil. The rain allows for the bacteria's chemicals to rise from the ground into the air and then into our noses. When the rain falls on plants, plants release some acidic compounds into the air, which gives the rain an even more earthy scent. We call the specific scent of rain petrichor. So now you know why rain has a smell. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and that's how your weather works. I am a big fan of the smell of rain. I love when I get to smell that before a storm comes. Now let's switch gears to a little smaller scale of some of the WeatherWorks episodes I've talked about. And it actually happened to me multiple times just a couple of days ago. During the winter time, static shock is more likely, but I explain why that is in this episode of WeatherWorks. Don't you get annoyed when you want to pet or cuddle with your dog or cat in the winter and they shock you? How disrespectful, right? But don't blame your pet for those small bolts of electricity. Blame the winter air. Humans are full of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Electrons are negatively charged and get rubbed off when we put on clothes or slide across the carpet. Once we lose those electrons, we gain a positive charge from the leftover protons and neutrons. Then we basically become a magnet when we touch a negatively charged object or animal and we feel the electric shock. This bolt of energy is more likely to happen in the wintertime because the air is cold. Cold air can't hold as much moisture as warm air. In the presence of lower water vapor, electrons can't move as easily through the air. So the electrons get bottled up, waiting to release their energy. If you're tired of the constant shocks around your house, buy a humidifier. The added water vapor will help disperse those fired up electrons. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and that's how your weather works. Yeah, I think I need to really invest in that humidifier. That would probably help my situation a lot. And lastly, one thing that we always talk about is our grand scheme when it comes to our solar system and how small we are in comparison to the universe. But life on Earth is in our universe, in our solar system, is usually only prevalent on Earth. Now, we have had some instances of scientists believing that life does exist outside of the Milky Way. But here in our small solar system, we are the only planet in the solar system to sustain life. In one of my favorite episodes, my top episode of WeatherWorks, I explain why Earth is the only habitable planet in our solar system. Behind me here at the Virginia Air and Space Science Center is a replica of our solar system. Right now, Earth is the only planet in our solar system that can sustain human life, and this is why. The sun is a star at the center of our solar system. Every star has a habitable zone. That zone is a region surrounding the star where liquid water can exist on a planet's surface. Earth sits perfectly in our sun's habitable zone. Venus and Mars sit right outside of that zone. Venus is too close to the sun, so it's too hot for liquid water to exist. Any water would simply evaporate. Mars is slightly too far from the sun, so any surface water would turn into ice. Stars that are smaller than our sun have a habitable zone that is much closer to that specific star. Vice versa, a larger star has a habitable zone that's much further away. According to NASA, finding the habitable zone of other solar systems in our universe may eventually lead astronomers and other scientists to find life on other planets. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and that's how your weather works. It's kind of like that Goldilocks effect where it's just right, where you're not too hot, not too cold, right in that habitable zone of our favorite star, the sun. So that was 5 of my favorite WeatherWorks episodes from this year. I actually have 21 episodes, and you can find that on 13newsnow.com by typing in WeatherWorks into our search bar, or you can download our 13 News Now app on your phone, and it's all for free on your phone or on our 13 News Now Plus app on your Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV as well. We're going to get into our next topic now, and that's about the severe weather that's been happening across the country. Yesterday, we did have a slight risk, or a level 2 out of 5 risk for places in the deep south, including Houston. And now that threat starts to move to the east, to where even 3 days from now, or as you may count into Sunday, we are underneath a severe weather risk here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina. Let's talk more about the severe weather risk across the country. For today, much lower than what we had for yesterday. We are underneath a level 1 out of 5 risk for places around the Gulf Coast. So New Orleans, getting into Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, even cutting into parts of southwestern the metro area of Birmingham. Now for today, just thinking of some isolated severe thunderstorms, maybe some heavy downpours, gusty winds, but that threat does transition into a much larger threat for the weekend. So right now, this is our current satellite and radar, and as you see, a few showers and thunderstorms are going in that general area of where that level 1 out of 5 risk is. So right now, Jackson, Mississippi, seeing some of those downpours just to your east. So in the Philadelphia, Mississippi, Meridian, down to Laurel and Hattiesburg, we're seeing some. That's down the I-59 corridor. And then if you're in New Orleans, the storms are on their way now, as you see most of it on the eastern side of the city as well. So right down that I-10 near Slidell, getting into New Orleans and southern parts of Louisiana. Now, Mobile, you haven't seen much of their storms threat yet. It's starting to build up, but that will be throughout the day. Now, going into the weather services is in the Storm Prediction Center's forecast for today. The main threats they're looking for any storms for today would maybe be an isolated tornado in that risk for anywhere from Jackson to Mobile and west of Montgomery. Some stronger gusty winds, that's probably the main threat. And then some small hail, really anywhere from Jackson to the Mississippi-Alabama border. So keeping an eye out for that. And it shows that some of the storms that we had yesterday in Texas, not there anymore. It's all part of this big low pressure system that's starting to move through the area for the Mid-South. So even places like Memphis that aren't in that risk did have some overnight showers and thunderstorms rolling through, but that's just threat number 1 of many this week. So that's where we're sitting for it right now, clearing out late tonight, and then we have our resurgence again into Saturday morning. Now that starts near the I-35 corridor. That's going to take you from Oklahoma City all the way down into Dallas and cutting into the heart of Texas. See how strong these storms are during this resurgence of storms. Will continue with the opportunity for some stronger storms late on Saturday into the day on Sunday. Notice how strong these storms do get anywhere from Louisiana into Mississippi and heading into Alabama. This is Saturday night into very early Sunday morning, and then that threat continues to shift to the east, where places like North Carolina and Virginia are now under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather, or a slight risk for severe weather. Now for today, it is a big travel day, so let's talk more about your travel forecast. For places around the East Coast will be mainly dry, anywhere from here in southeastern Virginia all the way up through Boston. We're talking temperatures anywhere from the upper 30s to the upper 40s. Now, a few showers are possible in Raleigh, through Atlanta, down through New Orleans, where they have that severe weather threat as well. Temperatures there, though, around the Gulf Coast in the middle to upper 70s, so very warm conditions down south. For the heartland of the country, we're talking scattered showers and thunderstorms up near Minneapolis. Too warm, actually, to see some snow at this time. Temperatures for the afternoon in the lower 40s. Chicagoland, we're talking upper 40s, lower 50s. Down I-35 in Oklahoma City, Dallas, we're talking middle 50s to lower 70s. So a big range of temperatures there, but mostly sunny after we had seen some tornadoes yesterday. And then out into your travel forecast for the Rocky Mountains and west, we're talking a lot of snow, especially for places like Salt Lake City. Temperatures there in the middle 40s to upper 40s. Out into the West Coast, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Phoenix, all in the 60s. Now, the one thing about Los Angeles that I saw a meteorologist talk about earlier is that this is supposed to be their rainy season, and they haven't gotten much in the way of rain, but they are seeing some fog today. Now, to recap what happened yesterday from severe weather, here's a look at some of the tornadoes that touched down into parts of the deep south. As you see, that huge tornado coming through parts of the deep south, continuing again that threat through tonight into tomorrow and into Sunday. But this is your reminder that when tornadoes do strike, make sure that you are in your safe place. That means you're in a basement or an underground shelter. If you don't have that, an interior room with no windows is also a great idea for making sure that you're staying safe during severe weather. As you see, this person is very far away from that tornado, but still making sure that you are staying cautious when you are watching and looking for severe weather. So getting into what we're talking about for tomorrow, this is our severe weather threat for Saturday. We are in a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather, mainly in that same area of the country that we're already seeing storms fire off again. So with the clearing skies, that will help to really revamp the atmosphere. When you have sunshine during the afternoon before storms happen, the storms can really tap into that energy or that heat and they get going. So anywhere from parts of central Louisiana into central Mississippi, and then in the parts of western Alabama, a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center says for tomorrow that there is a good risk of seeing some potential EF2 or higher tornadoes in that bullseye of that orange color. And then we're also looking for the potential for some gusty winds. That's the highest threat we'll have for tomorrow in terms of severe weather threats. And then hail is also possible. Like I said yesterday, I lived in parts of the middle of the country. I lived in Oklahoma for a while, and that hail can be very intense as well. So if you have any friends or family or you're heading that direction for tomorrow, definitely make sure that you park your car into a garage. Make sure it's covered, because even if you don't see a tornado, even if you don't see straight line winds, if you have that pretty significant hail, then you have the potential of getting some car damage. Now here in Hampton Roads, we are talking that severe weather risk sliding our direction on Sunday. Now with Sunday's forecast, definitely not as intense as they're going to be seeing in parts of the deep south. A level 2 out of 5 risk is in place for parts of Virginia and North Carolina. We'll take this graphic full so we can see the full gravity of this. As you see, a level 2 out of 5 risk anywhere from Lynchburg to South Boston all the way down through Raleigh. That's where the highest risk for severe weather will be on Sunday. For us here in Hampton Roads, we are talking in that level 1 out of 5 risk, and we still have potential maybe for an isolated tornado, but our main threat is going to be gusty winds and very heavy downpours as a strong cold front rolls through the area. And that takes me into my third topic. It's going to be a warm and rainy end to 2024 here for our local forecast in the 757 and the 252. Right now, here's your live look from Newport News. And as you see, clouds are really starting to take over. This is actually a great visual because earlier this morning, we had a lot of of sunshine. The sunrise was gorgeous, and now we're seeing those clouds really overtaking the skies. Temperatures right now across the Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina are in the upper 30s to lower 50s, so a big range. Places like Kill Devil Hills already hitting that 50-degree mark. So we could see some temperatures today in northeastern North Carolina climb to the middle 50s to upper 50s, but we'll finally be near normal for this time of year after we have just seen some cooler than average days for this holiday week. So taking you through your futurecast, we're going to see temperatures rising to the upper 40s, lower 50s by lunchtime. The big difference between most days compared to today is that usually inland spots are some of the warmest temperatures we'll have across the area. This day for your Friday will be reversed because there'll be much more cloud cover in the I-95 corridor compared to the coast. Those temperatures will not be able to really rebound as much because there won't be as much sunlight. So we're talking temperatures inland in the upper 40s, around the coast lower 50s. And after lunchtime too, we could have the start to a few sprinkles. Now today, most of us will stay dry, and any rain we do have will be concentrated to the peninsulas and places around that I-95 highway. Any rain that does fall, though, will be very light and quick in nature. So we're not talking any robust showers or even thunderstorms into your Friday. Now, Saturday is where we start to bring those winds from the north to the south. And when we have those south winds coming through the area, that pulls in that really warm air. So on Saturday, highs will climb to the upper 60s. Some places could near 70 degrees. Will be mostly cloudy though. Temperatures again in those upper 60s with spotty showers across the area. Now again, staying mainly dry on Saturday. It's going to be Sunday. That's our severe weather risk day, where we'll have a line of strong to possibly severe thunderstorms rolling through between about 7 p.m. and midnight. And this could bring us those gusty winds, maybe the potential for a spin up or a brief tornado coming through. Temperatures on Sunday, though, still very warm, upper 60s. Even some models keeping us in the lower 70s. Now, our average high temperature for this time of year is 52 degrees. So we'll be 15 to 20 degrees warmer than where we should be for the end of December and early January. So definitely, if you're one of those warm weather lovers, it's your time to shine. It's just unfortunate that we have to pair that with the potential for severe weather. We love the rain. We need the rain. But what we don't need is severe weather. Again, giving you that second look at the severe weather potential for Sunday. The level 2 in the yellow is out near Lynchburg, Farmville, South Boston, Raleigh, Rocky Mount. Here in the coastal Virginia and coastal Carolina areas, we're talking a level 1 out of 5 risk. It doesn't mean our risk is 0, but it does mean our risk is the lowest it can be. That's the good news. But usually when we have these outlooks this far out into what we consider day 3, for us in meteorology, we consider today day 1. So Sunday would be day 3 of our outlook. And usually when we have these outlooks this far ahead, a lot of times they get upgraded each and every day. So I was even talking to one of my friends, he's a meteorologist in Birmingham, and they had a level 1 risk last night for Saturday when we talked we talked yesterday. And then after I spoke to him, maybe a few hours later, they had already upgraded that risk to a level 2 and 3. So it's very possible that we could start to see those risks being upgraded. But for right now, just a level 1 risk. Again, the strongest storms rolling through Sunday night into very early Monday morning. But that cold front rolls through very quickly. So we're going to take this big again so everyone can see what's going on across the area. For the big picture, Futurecast graph shows that we're going to have those south winds really pulling in that that really warm air. If we could take this full, that'd be great. Thank you so much. So across the area, we're talking temperatures staying in those upper 50s to lower 60s, even through Saturday morning. So a very warm morning for us across parts of the mid-Atlantic. Rain chances still rolling through early on Saturday, but most of that rain will be really concentrated to the Richmond area. Our best chances of rain don't come until Sunday. Now, what makes this forecast a little bit dicey in terms of nailing down a good forecast is that the cloud cover will really determine whether we get whether we get a lot of those stronger storms or if we don't. The more sunshine we have during Sunday, potentially the stronger the storms could be. If we have more cloud cover, that will shield a lot of that energy that would be coming in from the sun and the heat. And so the storms may not be able to tap in to as much energy. So right now, the models are keeping us fairly clear from Sunday morning through Sunday at lunchtime. And notice how strong those winds could be, anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour, gusts up to 30. And then we'll have that south wind. So highs potentially in the lower 70s. So feeling like beach weather. And even now, the newest model runs keeping us on that partly cloudy feel, which would only enhance the thunderstorms we would see on Sunday night. So here comes those thunderstorms and widespread showers Sunday night. Even these models now picking up even stronger system. Again, we'll have a fluctuation back and forth between what will happen. And of course, we'll be communicating with the government in terms of the National Weather Service and really figure out what their thought process is as well with the system. But by Monday morning, the strongest storms by about 5 a.m. will be out of our hair. We'll still have some lingering showers on Monday morning, but still warm temperatures in those lower 60s. We really won't get back those temperatures back into the 50s until we hit 2025. So it will be a very warm end to the year. Overall, from now through about Sunday night, we can pick up anywhere from about ½ an inch to an inch of rain area wide. Most of the heaviest rain will be to our west and north. So any rain that we do pick up will be super beneficial. We're underneath a moderate to severe risk for most, moderate to severe drought for most of our area here in the Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina viewing area. Some places near Franklin and Hosky doing a little bit better in that abnormally dry condition, but we need the rain. So anything we can squeeze out is good. I just hope that we can try to dodge a lot of the severe weather that could be potentially in the picture for Sunday night. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Now, over the next 10 days, that takes us all the way through parts of 2025. Again, this is the first week of 2025, so Sunday through Saturday on your 10-day temperature trend. And notice how temperatures will spike near 70, but then by the end of the first week of 2025, temperatures may only be at best in the lower 40s. It seems like we are going to be in that downward trend of the roller coaster to start off the new year. Now, overall, for the next 5 to 7 days, temperatures will be in the lower 50s on Friday with mostly cloudy skies, rising to the upper 60s for Saturday and Sunday. Again, Sunday, we do have that small risk for severe weather, but right now we're going to keep that on the lower end, mainly for gusty winds, heavy downpours, but we cannot rule out the chance for an isolated tornado. Temperatures by Monday will drop to the lower 60s with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. A small chance for rain during Monday morning, clearing out throughout the day. Again, remember Sunday for the severe weather risk. The more sunshine we have, the higher our risk will go up. But by Tuesday, we still have the opportunity for some isolated showers. We really can't nail down the timing of Tuesday's rain chances for a really accurate forecast until Sunday. So definitely stay tuned to the forecast then to know if your fireworks are a go or a no. Temperatures then in the middle 60s. And then for New Year's Day, we'll be back in the upper 50s, still a couple degrees above normal with breezy conditions, but mostly sunny skies. And then we take that dip down into the upper 40s. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me for the last Friday of the year. If you want to know any more about weather, you can always follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of those I am on, and we can talk weather all you want to. All across our platforms as well, we talk weather all the time between our weather stream that happens again every day at 9 a.m. or between our weather extras, which includes my WeatherWorks episodes that I feature today and other weather extras from all our meteorologists on the 13 News Now team. You can find that on our 13 News Now Plus app. It's free, and you can rewatch newscasts as well. You can download that on your Apple TV, Roku TV, or Apple TV, and your Amazon Fire TV today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and happy last weekend of 2024. We'll see you next week.